Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from SethMarkwood.com.
Together, the three of us, we are Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again, boy.
Thanks. Welcome to you as well.
I'm just noticing how shiny that clock is back there.
It is. It doesn't have a plastic cover on it, so.
Yeah, the plastic cover also was domed, and
right.
so it would diffuse the reflection. So, one of these days, maybe we'll get a clock made that has a plastic cover on it.
Well, if only we had such technology.
Yeah. So, what are we smoking today?
So today we are smoking W.O.Larsen. This was sent to us by Bob. He had also sent the Hobbit's Smoke.
Right.
Homemade recipe for Hobbit's weed.
Right.
And so this was a palate cleanser. He's the one that also said that upon returning to his tobacconist to send us one of his favorite blends, he discovered it was actually 1Q. Now they have to disclose what it is. So
in a way, the FDA deeming hasn't been all bad.
Not for 1Q.
Well, not for 1Q. And my reputation. What are you smoking that in? Oh yeah.
I don't know.
That is a Devil Ants Acorn. I am smoking in a, what do we call this? The Marky Mark, the Junior Mark Twain, what do we call this thing?
I don't know. But this is the pipe.
It's a Dublin.
This is the pipe that you smoke when you don't want to be able to put it down.
That's true. This is a Marcus. That's it.
So I thought it would be interesting if we talk a little bit and extend a little bit of conversation from last week.
And why do you think that? Because when we turned the camera off, we couldn't stop talking about it.
Yeah, that's why. And, you know, because it ties to things we've talked about in the past, and it wasn't that long ago that we had a pretty extensive conversation because we took some flack for promoting some cheap, I think it was Cheap Chinese Crap was the title of the videos. Where we showed off some things that we had purchased through Chinese websites. AliExpress was predominantly the site. And we were very excited about some of this stuff we got. Great price. Most of it was wasn't a true rip-off or knockoff like the Pocket Monkey.
It's products that were inspired by some new trend.
That's right. And so people asked about if you feel this way, why don't you like supporting American-made products, and how can you support companies like Chinese companies that are ripping off?
Right. Why not Chinese corn cobs?
That's right. So we talked at length about that. You can search back for that. But you know, given your response and the way that the knockoff Pocket Monkeys made you feel, I thought it would be interesting to come back to that conversation and maybe talk about some things that we talked about then and see how they still apply. Right. So one of the things we talked about is that oftentimes the knockoffs, one way that an original product differentiates itself from the knockoff is oftentimes the quality of the knockoff is subpar. And so you are receiving a higher quality good when you buy the name brand oftentimes.
And do you know why that is?
A number of reasons. Yeah. Among them is they usually have more consistent quality control. They're the ones that developed the tolerances on those products that you don't have with a knockoff. And most often, especially when you're talking about China, the quality of the materials is increased. So these, you know, may have been made out of recycled car springs, which is a very common, you know, reuse for steel there. And so the quality of the steel could be different, a number of different factors. In fact, even products that aren't brand new, that are China, or that are intellectual property owned by Chinese companies, even oftentimes they're skimping on material. I just bought a new 3D printer for Christmas, and one of the things that's been discovered with this printer is that they were skimping on one of the connections. Instead of soldering it like they were supposed to, they were just crimping it. And this has caused to some overheating in some of the units. And so they're making changes to their quality control.
You know, years ago when halogen lighting was all the rage in kitchens, people would put halogen puck lights we were having people that were having problems with them getting shorted. They would short out, and they'd come on, work just fine, and then after, let's say 10 minutes, they would just start flickering and then eventually go out. And one of the things we found out was people were buying 5-watt light fixtures. And then when those bulbs burned out, they went to Home Depot and they bought a bulb that looked just like the one that was in theirs, but it was a 20-watt. And there is a difference in price between the 20-watt puck light and the 10-watt puck light. And it's the size, the gauge of the wire, and of the parts that you plug the bulbs into. And the heat of the light was causing the metal parts to expand because of the heat, and then therefore they would basically get a little socket that you'd plug your bulb in, and that would be enough to create a short, right? Then our transformers, not drivers, on LEDs have drivers. Our transformers had a little chip in them that if they sensed a short, they'd turn off. So the product was working the way it was supposed to. Somebody had replaced a bulb, and it made an entire kitchen system of lighting fail.
Cut off. Wow.
But it looked like it was the correct thing. Well, here's the deal. When somebody knocks off a tool in China, like you're saying, they don't know unless, okay, the bearing maybe has markings on the bearing, but what kind of steel is that shaft made out of? To what Rockwell hardness was it hardened? Maybe they test it, maybe they don't test it. How was it hardened? You harden things and quench them differently for different applications, and so on. So especially when it comes to machinery, there's been some really scary horror stories of people that have bought a knockoff of something, and it wasn't made to the original tolerance. Sure looked just like the other saw, but the blade came flying off.
Right. So, as we were talking about this, where's your legit
back in my pocket
monkey? As we were talking about this is a bit of a unique case in that it is such a simple product, such a simple design that as far as knockoffs go, it is about as truly one-to-one of a knockoff as we've ever seen. Size dimensions are pretty much spot on. The thickness of the steel is pretty much spot on. One thing I do notice about the cheaper version is it looks like it was punched out and they have not done much for deburring on it, so it's not nearly as smooth along some of the corners.
Yeah, you're right. Wow. I don't know if this is laser cut. Might be. Yeah, quite different.
But for something that is at that price point, a disposable, practically,
it's thicker too,
tool, it's pretty good. And so other conversations we've had about this is, then what do you do as a company? What should your response be if you're the company of the original product and you're being knocked off?
All right, so let me jump in with the first one. That's patented, U.S. patent. They should be enforcing that patent. It's tough to do, right? So you're going to go after the manufacturer of that product? No. In China, that's, who knows who that is that's making that part.
And oftentimes, we heard from an attorney that oftentimes what will happen is they'll close down that manufacturer. They're all being made in the same factory. So they'll close down the same manufacturer, open up a new company. The plant doesn't ever change. It's, there's just a company name that changes.
I don't know if that one would be TSA compliant. Look at that edge.
Yeah, it definitely has more of a sharp edge than the original.
Yeah.
It might be. But again,
they may not have known.
but I mean, you could file that down if you were concerned about it.
Yeah.
And 2, you could just
throw it away.
And, you can get 3 for the price of 1.
No,
you can get
like
4
6 for the price of 1, just about.
Yeah. So, what's a company to do? Well, they enforce the patent as much as they can, is one option. Another option is they up their marketing, right? Because even people that buy this, if they have marketed themselves properly, people think that they have bought a pocket monkey. This happened with the fidget cubes. When the fidget cubes came out, talked about it before, they had such a backlog because of Kickstarter that they weren't able to bring their product to market as quickly as they were able to be knocked off. And so the knockoffs actually hit the market much sooner than the official product did. Mm-hmm. The quality was wildly different, but they certainly have the name recognition. And so with the name recognition and the marketing, you try to drive people back to your site. You also rely on customer loyalty. We've talked about that with the coolers. What's the cooler company? Not Arctic, but the coolers that are like $200. Igloo. No, not Igloo. Company that makes the coolers made the double wall insulated cups, and they have the name brand. They're selling their cups for $40, $50. Walmart goes and starts selling $10 versions of them, and so you as a consumer, if you are a fan of the product, then you pay more for the brand name. You may pay more for the product that you like, and I think the other thing that they can do is then drive their fan base to future product purchases, things that haven't been knocked off yet.
Again, the problem is this product is only a couple years old. Mm-hmm. I don't think the patent's 5 years old on this thing.
Yeah, but you compare that to the Fidget Cube.
I know.
Fidget Cube hadn't even released yet, so this is lagging behind.
I've had conversations with Paul Akers from FastCap, and I'm a big FastCap fanboy and own a bunch of their tools. And Paul has talked about there are some products you absolutely should patent, and others that aren't worth the cost and the time associated with the patent because of the short life. So, for example, you invent the Snuggie. You're going to want to hit the market hard and fast. You want to go on QVC, you want to go on Amazon, you want to be everywhere at Christmas time with your Snuggie, because next Christmas, you're knocked off like crazy.
Right.
But you got to take a chance.
And what you lean
on...
You're
gambling. You're gambling when you place that huge order at the factory because you have no established sales.
But what you lean on is brand recognition. Because when you have a Snuggie and a Snuggly sitting on a shelf next to it, and people recognize this move and the as seen on TV.
What was that move?
It's a blanket with sleeves. It's a blanket with sleeves. You don't know?
I don't
know. Watch the Snuggie commercial?
No.
Oh man, the Snuggie commercial has people with the Snuggie on, and it's so great because it's a blanket with sleeves, and they have their hands in the sleeves and they're raising their arm to show how wonderful it is that you couldn't do that with a normal blanket, but you can with a Snuggie.
You could do it with a robe, though.
You could. Well, a Snuggie is just a backwards robe, so.
I know it is.
Yeah, but it's not as catchy as Snuggie. You get the little as seen on TV sticker on it, and people are drawn to it.
Yeah, and as seen on TV does not mean you're buying the original.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're buying one, it's just like the one that you saw on TV.
Well, and as seen on TV isn't the same as seen on TV. Because as seen on TV is a company. Seen on TV just means it's been on TV. Somebody took out a commercial and...
Somebody took their Snuggie and laid it over their television.
Yes. Yeah, seen on TV.
It was seen on a television.
Mm-hmm.
It was seen on TV. You know what? What if it was you? What if you slaved away to come up with something? Did you see that show, that movie with Greg Kinnear playing the guy that invented the intermittent wiper for cars?
No.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And true story. He invented this thing only to have Ford steal it. And there's another movie that's out.
Hudsucker Proxy.
The Hudsucker Proxy.
For kids.
There's a movie out right now. Actually, it's not in the theaters now. It's now, because I watched it on a flight the other day, about the lady that invented the self-wringing mop. And it's a mop. We've had them where you kind of pull back on a handle and twist.
Yeah.
And she patented that, and then it was knocked off. Yeah, but she had a big uphill battle because QVC wanted to feature it, but she had to have like 50,000 units for them to feature it. So, whoa, talk about an investment.
That's interesting. That's often a situation that people on the profit businesses on the profit find themselves in, where there's a critical mass where
the profit or the Shark Tank
profit, where you're well both, but I'd say the profit because I was just watching an episode the other night in an exact situation where you have a critical mass of orders that you cannot afford to fulfill because you have back stock or because you have debts.
You get the wrong stock.
And that's right. And so you find yourself in a situation where you can't elevate your company to the next stage of success because that success requires more capital than you have.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's common in both situations, both shows that happens. That's gotta be frustrating.
Well, it's also if you watch Shark Tank, it's somewhat of a catch-22 where they'll ask these people, these inventors, well, how many of them have you sold? None. So it's unproven then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if they've sold it and they've got great success, why would they want to jump on now? And especially if they don't have any patents or any protection for it.
Right.
So I don't know. The key again, I think, is that you go in with a great idea that you've proven that you've got patents on. Okay, go back to the Wright Brothers, right? The Wright Brothers flew their plane and then they basically hid it away for many years while they were waiting for their patent to be approved. And they did some flying just a bit north of Dayton and at Huffman Prairie, but for the most part, people didn't believe that they even flew.
Yeah. I mean, when you have something that is potentially that revolutionary, you have to do everything you can to protect it. But do you think that the planes that were flying around in World War I by all of the non-American allies and enemies were holding to the patent? Do you think?
Absolutely not.
I mean, and it's so much worse now with the internet. Once an idea is out there, it's out there. And it is so hard to put the lid back on that bottle. I mean, it's... I don't know that it's possible in many instances.
No.
At all. And so, as a company, I think when this happens, when you're knocked off... Our company has a bunch of patents, and one of our competitors... one of their products that they still sell to this day is a knockoff, a direct knockoff of one of our products that is patented, but they make it outside of the U.S., and I don't think that we've ever contested it.
Do they sell it in the U.S.?
I don't know. It's marketed here, but it's not their primary product anymore. They've moved beyond it, but it's still one that they do sell. It's still one that they do sell. I don't think that we've challenged it. I think because to do so would be such a time sink and a financial sink that at a certain point you have to move forward and progress beyond what they have stolen. And if they were stealing something that we were producing now, if they were stealing our newest technology, then it would be probably a different issue. We probably would be fighting. But they have stolen something that is 2 generations old, something that we don't make anymore. We don't sell anymore. Yeah. We still support it with parts and things, but it's not.
You buy those from your competitor?
Yeah. They make them real cheap. What can I say?
The guys at Pocket Monkey who are frantically scraping the black off of these.
Right. Oh, they've done a really great job. We can get 3 for the price of 1. That's great.
Cut a face on that monkey and get it out the door.
I gotta say, I do like the black. They sell them in black at Zootility.
Zootility? I don't know.
I have seen Zootilities. I don't
say their other knife?
Get it. I have seen their knife at Target.
Their knife? The one that you could actually take the blade off?
The wolf head. It's a wolf.
The wolf head, is that theirs?
Yes.
I thought that was somebody else's.
I don't think so. I think it's theirs.
I think it's somebody else's.
Okay, I think it's theirs. Because they have the porcupine comb, and they have a couple of the products. I don't understand them.
They make another one that's kind of interesting that has a blade that's, well,
I'm pretty sure
it's almost as long as this. It swivels out and locks in place.
Locks into the center.
And then you can pull that blade off and throw it away. And the idea is, again, you're standing at TSA and they want to take possession of your tool. You can throw away just a component of it. It was the whole reason why I first started exploring.
Yeah, it's a wolf. It's the wild card.
Getting a utility. Yeah, but okay, that's the one.
It's Zootility.
Okay, yeah, that's the one.
There's no, it's not gonna work. There we go.
Remember when I was exploring all of those, the EDC, Gerber EDC, I think they called it, and that other one that we had, where's that little knockoff that was the $150 utility knife that we paid nothing for? That one. I don't like a utility knife blade for my everyday carry. Yeah. I find I do too much prying and things I shouldn't be doing with a knife.
But you can pry with that.
And yet my knife, yeah, that's true with that end. But my knife does everything I need it to, and I have enough of them that and I did tell you that your grandpa had his knife taken by the TSA. Yeah. My dad, so he ended up buying a bunch of them on Amazon. I told him, or somewhere, I said, the knife that we buy, because he knew it was discontinued, so the knife that we buy is also discontinued, and we find them, and when we do, we buy them.
Yeah. So
he found some. He found like 5 or 6 of them and bought them all. So he's all set. But you know, I guess this is an old struggle. I mean, the whole reason why Benjamin Franklin created and proposed the patent process is to advance technology. If we hadn't shared our secrets through the patent process, then we would not be flying around today. We would not be driving the vehicles we drive today. It was, you look at the meteoric rise in technology. It came from these inventors sharing their ideas and putting them out there at risk of copy. But the idea is that they get improved. And if there was some improvement here that got around the patents because they came up with some innovation that made sense, then, man, I'd have no problem carrying this around.
Sure.
You know? Same conversation sort of as last week.
Well, the good thing is, good news is, for Zootility anyway, is that they have done such a good job in creating a good product that you rely on, you believe in, that as a loyal fan, you reached out to them trying to protect their interests, and your interest is in seeing them succeed much more than it is in getting and perpetuating cheap knockoffs of that. And that in an economy where we can have relationships with customers and with businesses through social media and some of those other methods is invaluable. The loyal fan base. Seth Godin, the marketer, talks about having the smallest viable audience for your business. That if you have a core group of 1,000 people or 10,000, whatever your business needs. If you have a core group and they are loyal to you, they will follow what you do and they will purchase your product when you have a product. That's all you need to sustain growth.
Well, and they'll forgive you when you screw up. That's occasionally, right? That happens.
But those are the people. You earn those people by sending them a replacement when yours is taken by the TSA, even though you don't have to.
It's true.
This company won't do that.
Also true.
So. All right. Thank you for the tobacco. Whoa, Wu-Tang Clue? No.
W.O.Larsen.
W.O.Larsen. I enjoyed it and smoked all of it.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it and smoking all of it.
I think that's it for this week. Next week, we're going to talk health and give a little bit of a fitness update, I think. Yeah?
Okay, and maybe even suggest a knockoff.
Yeah, who knows? All right, thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great week. You all right there?
Sneeze them if you got them.
Have a great week. We will talk to you next week.
Make it a great week.
Bye.